Hi everyone, this is Pius from Apex Medical. Welcome to our webinar. This will be the first in a series of webinars about the Nox Sleep Diagnostic Equipment and Software. Today's webinar is on BodySleep. For those of you that are using a T3S or A1 device, this may be a good refresher on what BodySleep is and how it works. And for those of you that aren't familiar with BodySleep, I hope you find this presentation interesting and informative. So, let's get started. First, we have to answer the question, what is BodySleep? BodySleep is an artificial intelligence, or AI, automatic analysis algorithm that analyzes respiratory and actigraphy data for more accurate AHI diagnosis. Nox chose to use these signals as inputs as they are unlikely to fail during a sleep study. The primary input is the respiratory data, which is processed through Nox's algorithms using calibrated RIP or C-RIP technology. I'm sure the next question is, how does it work? On the more technical side of things, BodySleep is a machine learning algorithm based on an artificial recurrent neural network trained using supervised learning. It's based on Google's TensorFlow program and internal expertise. The Nox team have been developing sleep diagnostic equipment since 2003, with the goal of bringing a new generation of products to support the growth of sleep medicine. The Nox T3, which you may be familiar with, was launched in 2006. Since then, we've seen the release of the Nox A1 and the Nox T3S, all devices that you might be familiar with. So what BodySleep does is it analyzes respiratory data from the thoracic and abdominal respiratory inductance plethysmography bands, or RIP bands, and these signals, the respiratory rate derived from these RIP signals, and it also uses actigraphy to measure the impact of the brain state change on the body. So how does it look? Here's an example of the summary data after running the BodySleep algorithm. As you can see, it uses these respiratory signals to break sleep down into REM sleep, in-REM sleep, and wake. The study was recorded using a T3S device, so it was a level 3 study which we're able to gain sleep staging from. You can also add a couple of extra signals such as leg movements if you wish. And as you can see, it also gives an AHI and an ODI. This is a really useful tool if you need a good, reliable automatic analysis or just want a more accurate AHI. An overnight study can also make use of something like a sleep study log or an overnight questionnaire, but this does require that the patient fills in the answers correctly and accurately. It isn't always the case, and BodySleep aims to fix this problem by making it easier for the patient and for clinical staff. Here again is an example of the default Nox BodySleep report, and as you can see, it provides a lot of useful information at a glance. Aside from the patient information, we can see some summary information such as the total sleep time, sleep latency, sleep efficiency, REM latency, etc., as well as a breakdown of the sleep parameters and signal quality. This here is a detailed breakdown of the results, and from here we can see what kind of respiratory events have been scored and how many of them, as well as some stats on oxygenation, such as your ODI, your average oxygenation, minimum oxygenation, etc. We've also got some positional data. And Noxturnal has default reports. These reports are customizable, and it just depends on what kind of data you want to show and the type of layout you'd like to use. We'll cover reports in one of our future webinars. Now I'm sure some of you are wondering how accurate is it and how is it validated? It's a very good and a very fair question, so let's look at how the algorithm was validated and the overall accuracy of BodySleep. So for validation, it was performed using an external lab to validate the algorithm using their own resources to establish confidence in the product. The results were then compared to a manually scored PSG in patients with sleep disordered breathing, or SDB. Overall, the study concluded that the presented algorithm seems to be an appropriate tool to increase the diagnostic accuracy of portable monitoring, and that the validated diagnostic algorithm promises a more appropriate and cost-effective method if integrated in out-of-sensor testing of patients with suspicion for SDV, which means that BodySleep could become an important and very useful part of the workflow for home sleep tests. A little bit on accuracy. The principal study found that there was an excellent Pearson correlation with a manually scored AHI. So the R value here was 0.91, an almost perfect correlation between the two. There was also a good estimation of total sleep time compared to manual scoring, with a Pearson correlation coefficient or an R value of 0.81, indicating a very strong correlation between manual scoring and BodySleep. They did find an overall overestimation of about 14 minutes for total sleep time and a bias of 0.2 events per hour for manually scored AHI. The estimation of sleep efficiency also showed a strong correlation with an R value of 0.73 and an overestimation of 2.1% during the study. BodySleep also demonstrated good clinical accuracy in the estimation of sleep onset. One other thing is that the Cohen's kappa of 0.62 when comparing BodySleep and manual scoring epoch by epoch can be considered substantial, as a score between 0.61 and 0.80 is substantial, and anything above 0.81 is almost perfect. So overall, the principal study analyzed a total of 77,940 30-second epochs, and as you can see from the diagram, the number of epochs scored as REM, NREM, and wake were remarkably similar between BodySleep and manually scored PSG, with BodySleep scoring slightly less REM and wake and slightly more NREM. So, why use BodySleep? Firstly, BodySleep is quick and accurate. It can give a quick snapshot of the outcome of the sleep study when one is needed. It can also be used to increase the accuracy of diagnosis from home sleep tests by increasing the accuracy of estimated sleep time during a home sleep study where EEG is not available. This helps in giving a more accurate AHI by estimating sleep time and efficiency, which can be useful in a clinical application. This also helps in giving a more accurate AHI, potentially leading to better management of the condition, if any. BodySleep also aims to automate tasks that are typically done manually, saving time and effort. This means that more time can be spent with patients, managing the treatment and treatment plans. This could also mean that from a clinical standpoint, more patients are seen in the clinic, leading to shorter waiting times and better clinical outcomes. Overall, Knox calls it more complete and less complex. This diagram shows that how BodySleep compares to traditionally scored PSG derived sleep stages. The figures are taken from the poster presented at World Sleep 2019, and I'll provide references at the end for your interest. So how can you use BodySleep? As I mentioned before, BodySleep is available with the Nox T3S and A1 devices. It does require that your computer is running Noxturnal 6.0 or higher, which I think the majority of you are using. If you'd like to know what kind of version you're using, feel free to give us a call, or if you'd like more info, just give us a call or email us at info@apexmedical.co.nz. So let's have a quick example of how to use BodySleep. So here we've got an L3, a level 3 study. So to use BodySleep, we want to go up to the analysis tab and find Nox BodySleep and respiratory analysis. It's in with all the other automatic analysis. So you give that a click, and you'll see in the analysis console at the bottom that it's ticking along very quickly, and all the variables that it's looking at. So it's a very quick analysis. Let's give it a few more seconds here, and it's done. So now we can see that it scored some in-REM sleep and wake. If we go to the view and get a hypnogram, we'll see that it's managed to do the entire night's worth. So here it scored wake. It's also scored some in-REM sleep and REM sleep. If we scroll along, we'll see a few events coming up shortly. So here we have a central apnea that's been scored. We've also got some desaturations, another central apnea, and another desaturation. If we go over to the recording results page, you'll see a very similar diagram to one I showed earlier. So here we can see the hypnogram, nicely colored for us, as well as some other signals such as movement, position, apneas, desaturations, pulse, snoring, and events. Okay, so nice and simple, very easy and very quick. As you can see at the end there, we saw the good little snapshot of what was going on, just like I showed earlier. Remember, this study was recorded with a T3S device, so level 3 study, and we're able to get sleep stages thanks to BodySleep. Here are a few references for your interest. If you like the papers, feel free to email us at info@apexmedical.co.nz. A lot of these can be found on the Noxturnal website if you'd like to read them. Okay, that's all for me for now. The next webinar will be on reports. We'll let everybody know when this will be, and we've got some time now for some questions if you'd like some additional information.